Okay. So this one's really talking a lot about social media, blogs, wikis, things teachers can do to use via the internet or phone or whatever, and how they can communicate and how students can communicate using all this stuff, email, text, Twitter, all that stuff, but also some other stuff like wikis and blogs and things that we can do with those too as well. I found it interesting because again, I did meet with a lot of the teachers. For example, the elementary school at the DRS, they all use Class and Dojo. In the middle school and high school, it's up to the teacher. Now, one teacher, my former student who's teaching down there, he uses Google Classroom and communicates everything that way. So it's really up to the teacher what they want to do. And we've got new leadership down there, so they're talking about having one central something down there, like a blackboard or Canvas or something down there. So we're going to talk about how social media and communication technologies generate positive learning experience for teachers and students. And teachers use email, text, all that stuff, effective use of blogging, wiki, and collaboration amongst all that stuff. So, it's some teachers don't have any digital communication between parent, teacher, and student. They'll still do everything by phone or by mail or hard copy, giving the student something to send home, whatever. So, but and unfortunately those are older teachers who have what's called paradigm paralysis, meaning they ain't gonna change. They've maybe got 3, 4, 5 more years left till they retire, and they're just not gonna deal with it. So, but it's changing rapidly, and for my educators, you'll probably be using that now. So, just so you understand why we teach. Why do you think we teach this class? Just to give us something to do? Just to give me a job? There's a lot of reasons, because when you're going to be teachers, you're going to be expected to use this stuff. And the college here, though, as I've told you, we're going through CAPE accreditation, right? And that's going to be happening next couple of weeks, like the first 2 weeks of November. The CAPE people are going to be here. And we teach this class. This class isn't even, this class used to be mandated by the state of Florida for all teacher education programs. Like everybody in any college of education in Florida had to take this class. Well, they stopped that about 1.5 years ago. But we didn't stop because we do it for CAPE. Number one, but this is an initial class. I know there's a lot of people in here that are seniors or juniors and might need this class just to graduate and whatnot, and that's fine. However, for our education students, this is probably one of your first classes. It's a sophomore level class. So we like to see how you matriculate through your time here and use technology. For example, you're going to take ESL classes from Dr. Blankenship, okay? And she's going to use a lot of technology. There's other classes too. So we have initial, midpoint, and mastery stuff that we look at. So when CAPE comes, who do you think they're going to talk to about technology? Me, okay? And I've been told by the dean, you got to tell them all about this stuff. So pretty much basically just what I told you guys. How our students, learn it. And then we ask questions after you graduate. We ask you to do some surveys for us. We track you for 3 years. We watch you for 3 years. Yeah. We talk to your supervisors, superintendents, and see how you're getting along. And it's not like stealth under the radar. We let you know that we're here for you. So But then we have you fill out surveys, and we ask technology questions. Were you prepared for technology when you went to school, when you started your job? Okay, so I'll get off that soapbox, but I just wanted to tell you, why we do all this fun stuff. Okay. So we have all kinds of stuff we can do: email, blogs, online discussions, wikis. So I'm having you do a wiki in the class just so you're used to it. It's not an interactive wiki. I'm not having you like communicate with other people or have other people comment on your wikis or doing anything like that. I just want to get you used to the environment. Okay, so but there's a lot of things you can do with wikis. I think someone said they were a blogger in here. I thought is a blogger here? Okay, blogger must not be here today, but some people blog, and they're very similar to wikis. I mean, it's the same setup. It's basically now wikis, blogs. It's just like a Microsoft Word document anymore. There's a few more buttons you got to press and stuff, but it's not that difficult to do this stuff. I heard some people talking about online classes right before this started. So if my students here, if they're actually watching this, some of you don't watch, you better start watching. That they do what's called asynchronous. So we don't meet at any specific time. I have, just like your blackboards are set up, I have weekly modules. They have a weekly module, and they're expected to do the work in it, and then move on to the next one next week. So it involves time delay. Communicators wait for replies with mail, threaded discussions, and so forth. So synchronous, I do that with my graduate class online. We meet every Thursday night from 5 to 8 and go through what we do. So that's the difference. And that's going to be on your quiz. There will be a question about synchronous and asynchronous. So, and then I use Blackboard Collaborate. I think it's called Blackboard Collaborate, that I use for that environment that they can go into, and I can show PowerPoints. We can do videos of each other, whatever we want to do. It's real time. So, social networking for educators. Well, just not the students. Social network. Teachers do too. Okay, in their private lives, but in their professional lives, we try to do things where we can share information to each other as teachers, but also the stakeholders. So again, when I took the fourth grader in this morning, the first thing the teacher says, "Oh, let me sign you up for Class Dojo. Let me sign you up. Do you want on too, Dr. White? You can get on." So, anything that's going on in that class, in her fourth grade, we'll get emails about. She says, I usually email in the morning, and I usually email at night, or communicate through the Class Dojo that way. And you're welcome to send me stuff, but I may not read it till the morning and stuff like that. So she was very, very, very aggressively proactive about us getting on this thing. So just, I think I got a link to it on here. Yeah. Teaching beyond the school day can continue. Interaction can continue when class is out. Okay, and that's a cool thing. Share notes, inquiries, assignments, web links, suggestions, and it engages the students. It makes them in a position of doing rather than watching and listening like you guys are doing right now. But this is a different thing. You're in college, not in school. So the Class Dojo is something that's really more for the younger ages. It's an app, and it has all kinds of stuff for the teachers. I can actually make a class and put photos on, do all this stuff. It's got teacher resources on here. all kinds of stuff for parents, everything. So the class kind of looks like, you know, this class I thought I'd made. Well, this is a demo class, so, you know, in there you can, you know, give feedback to the students and to the parents, working hard, participating on task, you know, all kinds of other things that we can do. And if we go to needs work, you know, it can tell them what the problems are, and we can actually put more than this. So we can do things, but then we can actually go in and explain it a little bit more to the parents if they want. So it's a pretty cool little deal, and it's one of those open source deals. It's free, and you can manipulate it. Okay, it's free and you can manipulate it. Hello. So, and then Google Classroom the same. You know, it's just a little bit more. It's less cutesy with the cute animations and all that. It's more for serious type, higher level students. So we can share with the families, and this graphic is some type of class dojo Moodle type thing where the student has links to all their teachers, and they can get all the information they want from the teachers that they need. And then it's, you know, there's policies about sharing information with the families. I was actually a little surprised that this teacher was saying, "Do you want to be on this child's thing?" You know, I mean, yeah, I'm technically her uncle, but still, you know, I was a little like, okay, yeah, sure, you know, you know, whatever. But I don't think she's going out saying, "Hey, you know, do you want Chimsey's Class Mojo thing?" You know, she's, you know, it's more family related. And I told her, "Hey, you need to come up here and do a demo for my class on this." You know, she's like, "Yeah, you work it out with the superintendent. I'll be up." So, what may happen, we'll see. So we make this learning community, okay, online, and it can be very powerful. But then again, you know, technology could fail. Did someone in this class email me and tell me the internet was down?
Yeah,
that was you.
In a group me that the website was down.
Yeah, so I mean, stuff goes down. You know, does anybody use the Siri stuff? You know, like, "Hey Siri, play ZZ Top." Nah, whatever. Come on. Wow. Okay. See. Have you all heard this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. I'll have to listen to that later. Okay, so yeah, I just saw a commercial watching football last night where Alexis was talking to Siri and asking her something, and he got it wrong, and it went back and forth, and they ended up blowing up the world or something. So, you know, and the tagline was, you know, there's enough artificial stuff, you know, drink our beer or whatever it was, you know. So yeah, it can energize students. It can, you know, express ideas in writing and all this stuff, and verbal communication, and express ideas anonymously. So it can't, you know, this anonymity stuff I've talked about before. I'll talk about it again. Being anonymous really lets people out of their shell a little bit, because they're not, you know, looking at, you know, he's gonna see what she says, and she's gonna see what she says type of thing, you know. So now this is the actual classroom this morning. I took a picture of it. I wonder if I can blow this up any. But they all got Google notebooks. Okay, they all got internet access, and this is fourth grade at the DRS. Okay, so I mean, they're all tuned in. My counterpart down there, Mr. Gonzalez, was, again, I'll talk about him all the time, was my star pupil here at FAMU and graduated in my tech ed class. I mean, he got Google books for all these kids in every classroom. And he got them through FSU and some other I mean, he went out hat in hand, you know, hey, we need this stuff really bad. And, you know, he got all this stuff for them. So, and I love seeing these kids use it. And they're actually, you know, they come in the morning and, oop, open them up, let's go. And that's the way it is on all higher 4th, 5th, and 6th grade on up. What are you seeing down there?
I'm in the gym, so.
Okay. Who else is doing Ellis's class? Anybody? What are you seeing down there as far as technology?
Like you said, the Chromebooks.
Okay.
Because this is actually the classroom that I go to.
Yeah, what's her name?
Brittany Washington.
Miss Washington, right. What about you? Are you doing the same thing?
No, I go to, I'm in high school,
Uh-huh.
so I go to Mr. Thompson.
Okay, what's he teach?
He teaches all the social sciences,
Okay,
so only technology I've seen him use is the projector.
okay, all right. So again, we see what happens, okay? Publishing student work, this is just kind of a fun thing to do. I'm not really sure why they put this in the PowerPoint because but there are places to do this stuff. Flip Snack is a good place for students to go to put together a booklet. Again, it's free. But, you know, displaying student work celebrates student work and gives permanence to what they've done. It's documented and so forth. So, texts and texisms. I mean, you know, I'm preaching to the choir here about that, I'm sure. I mean, I guess they're assuming that none of the people reading this publication had ever texted before or used any of that stuff. But, you know, there's issues with this stuff, and I put the graphic up there of the thought police and all that can happen. But there's a reason why we don't let students use phones in schools, because they're going to be texting and moving around. I really need to put that to laptops too, Mr. Jordan, because I'm sure you're not watching the thing. So. Text speak and texisms. You know, this is where we're talking about, you know, first off, do you think texting improves literacy?
No.
Why?
Because you use, I don't know what it actually called, but like,
This stuff?
yeah,
Shortcuts, for lack of a better
it's a
term.
name, yeah, basically use, not really abbreviation, but like,
Yeah.
short version of the word. So.
Okay, so that's one view. What, does anybody have an opposite view that they think it does help literacy?
I type all my words out majority of the time.
Okay, but just how about the fact that they're actually spelling? I mean, they're actually on a keypad doing things that in my day, you know, I was sucking on fudgesicles and eating dirt, you know, and, you know, I didn't have this phone when I was, you know, 5, 6, 7 years old where I could start learning how to use a keyboard, how to spell stuff, because guess what, if, you know, great, congrats, great work, oh my God, OMG, THX, all that stuff, you know, they have to know what that means. They know what OMG means, so that's some literacy stuff. Now, the question is when you're starting to write papers for someone like me or a boss down the road and you're using this stuff, that's where, you know, it's problematic. But I think generally you know the difference. You know, you're smart people. You know you're not gonna say this stuff to you know, a boss or a professor or whatever, you know, if you wanna be taken seriously. I mean, if you wanna be taken seriously, you're not gonna do this stuff. But I get it all the time, like someone, you know, I get like research papers from graduate students, like they're talking to me in the club. You know, and it's like, no, you ain't talking to me like you're in a club. Okay. So we have built-in record keeping accountability with all this stuff, and that's important because you need to document everything nowadays. You know, you started your carbon footprint a long time ago. All right, and you need to save this stuff, save stuff of importance. Because it really never goes away, but it can be really hard for you to find. Okay? FAMU is supposed to keep every email I have sent since I've been here 12 years ago. You know, every one of them I should have access to. That's part of my employment contract. And I can't find anything past 5 years ago now. So, you know, like I'm screaming at him because look, I have stuff that I need from that, you know, I need documentation of stuff. So it can be problematic. Now, the email etiquette, yeah, the all caps, we know you're screaming. You know, you ever see that? Why are you yelling? I'm sure you all know what I mean, you know? And so it's the same thing with it all stores it on the cloud. For example, at the end of this semester, you won't have access to the Blackboard anymore, will you? No, but I will. You know, I have all my Blackboards. So you know, I can see, you know, someone, you come up to me and say, hey, I got a B in this class, I should've got an A. 3 semesters down the road, I could bring you in my office and show you why you didn't get an A, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, it's all cloud-based now, everything's stuck in there, and we have access to it. Now, we're supposed to switch from Blackboard to Canvas. I don't know what's gonna happen to all that data.
When?
Oh, I don't know. They keep saying it every year.
I like Blackboard.
Canvas is kinda better.
I've used Canvas, but I like Blackboard.
Well, all I'm saying is, they've been telling us that for the last 2 years. So we'll see what happens. Email connections to libraries, museums, and all that stuff. You know, all I'm really gonna say about this slide is, you know, the library is a great resource. You should take advantage of it. It's a great online resource. You should take advantage of it. It's a really good online resource. You should take advantage of it. Okay. And if you don't know how, you know, come to me and I will show you how. Not a problem. And I'll smile too when I do it. I'll be nice about it. Because you need to know, okay? So anytime you need some help like that, come and see me. Blogs. Again, there's educational blogs, student blogs, there's blogging boot camps, personal blogging, the building your PLN, which I believe is Professional Learning Network. All this stuff, blogging's huge, and a lot of teachers like it because it's concise. They know where to go. There's no questions. Students can leave replies if the teacher allows it. You can do a lot of designing with it. It's very easy to do nowadays. I think Blackboard actually has a blog too, that in lieu of Wiki, we could have done blogs. I know Taskstream has it, so and we're going to talk about that. My college events too. We'll talk about Taskstream here pretty soon. So you need to get it. You know, this design decisions, you know, that's up to you. You know, I don't know why this textbook put this in here because, I mean, you should ask yourself fundamental questions. What content will you post? How often? How do you want to receive comments and reader responses? Who can access the site? Those types of things. And are you going to be, you know, blogging by yourself or co-blogging? Because there are people that have 3 or 4 people that run a blog and chime in, so, you know, these are just some basic questions that you should ask yourself. Online discussions, how many of you have done online discussions as part of your classes? There's 3, I'm sure everybody has in this room done an online discussion. You haven't done any, ever? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So I'm sure you've all done it. Again, it's kind of out of the box of the face-to-face and all that. And I've seen it, you know, students actually come out of their shells a little bit more when they're writing, and they know other people are reading. So they can do this, provide thoughtful and supportive feedback. You know, it's important that you know, choose your language thoughtfully. So when I brought up this thing, this texting lead to good literacy, you know, you're right. I mean, on the surface, no, but when you dig down a little bit deeper, yeah, because when you're texting, you know you're in one environment. You know, you're texting to your bud, she's texting to her friends and all that. You're gonna get, you know, maybe a little ratchet and sketchy and all those fun terms y'all like to use nowadays. But you also are gonna know that when you're in this type of environment, you're not gonna use that language. And generally, I mean, for crying out loud, we got spell check now, you know, we have all this stuff that automatically corrects things. That leads to bad literacy. And let me go on my big spiel, my little spiel here about Microsoft Word. Okay, back in the day, language arts teachers were failing students or giving them bad grades on papers they wrote on Microsoft Office Word. And the guy said, the kid's saying, hey, you know, I don't have any red or green lines. You know, there are no problems here, and you know what I'm talking about. You know, I write something that looks like a damn Christmas tree with all the red and green lines on it, and I go back and fix stuff. But they're saying, the teacher was saying no, but he's saying I did the spell check and grammar check, and I said everything was cool. And she's saying no, or the teachers are saying no, because the linguists at Microsoft are not educators. Now you've seen probably, write something that's got a green line under and it says passive voice, consider revising. You know what I'm talking about? Hello, are you guys awake? Can you please check your pulses and breathe for me? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, so it's like there were not educational linguists that did the spell check and grammar checks for Microsoft. Therefore, teachers are saying, you know, the subject, noun, supposition, or whatever the heck you want to call it, was not working. And so, yeah, there's some literacy issues there. Then about 7 years back, they started, that Microsoft actually at one point had an educational version of Microsoft Word that was edited by linguists, educational linguists, okay? And that lasted about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I think they said, you know, why don't we just make this one available to everybody? So they're all spelling correctly. So that's what happened with that. And it was very interesting to watch that all unfold for a geek like me. Again, establish etiquette for online conduct. So you as the teacher have to do that. You know, you have to set the rules and say, hey, this is what's going to be allowed, this is what's not going to be allowed. Because again, I said this to a colleague of mine, a classroom is not a democracy. And she just went, what? I went, think about it. It's not. It can't be. It cannot be a democracy. There has to be boundaries set. If not, it's going to be anarchy. The students are going to run the classroom, and you know, 8, 9-year-olds aren't capable of running, anything. Well, they are, but don't get me wrong. But you have to maintain discipline, you as a teacher have to, set the rules, otherwise it's just not gonna work. So, you post policies to keep students responsible, to follow the rules. You can have online response forms for students, much like, I'm not sure if, these are like discussion boards, but you can also do surveys, you can do wikis and blogs and have them answer this and that. You can do Facebook, but I never showed you Facebook. Whoop, fake boink. So Facebook was made by teachers for teachers, okay? And it's Facebook, but it's just for teachers, okay? So it has all this stuff, I can't remember how to get out of all this. So yeah, you can, okay, whatever. Okay, so it's from Class Tools Net and it's Facebook. So if we look at the gallery and just look at a Facebook deal, what's the one I like? Chemistry. Okay, so these are all the names of the students. That the teacher gave them a name of what's on the chemical on the periodic table or whatever. So you have, or somebody's name, so you have all these different either substances or somebody famous's name. And that's the way they communicate, so you have that anonymity. No one knows who anybody is, and you can create your own, and it really works. You just set it up. It's very simple to do, and then you can have your own. Does anybody have their own Facebook page in here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure a lot of people do. So you know how to do this. It's not that difficult to do. But it is out there. It's a cool tool, and I know some teachers that actually use it. Team-based learning with wikis, you can have this collaborative learning, communication. What's the other two? Of the 4 C's?
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. So we have collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and there you go. I wish I could give each and every one of you $1, but alas, I'm a broke man.